On today's episode, we welcome a special guest, Alexandre Carey, founder of Anchorpoint Data. Alexandre, welcome.
Thank you, Maxime. Very happy to be here.
There you go. So let's talk about your business. What made you started? What motivated to start into this industry?
Yeah. So my business is building custom ERP, CRMs, precision softwares for small, medium-sized businesses. So what inspired me to start it? I think it's a life journey. There are like multiple reasons, like the personal, only career reasons, and some macro dynamics that I like.
Hmm.
So let's start with the personal. That will speak to the most people. So I come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
My mom, she fled the Soviet Union at its fall.
Nice.
And yeah, she was a diplomat working then at the Chambre de Commerce of Paris. So
Hmm.
it's the Chamber of Commerce. She was helping investment flow from the old Soviet Union to France and from France to the Soviet Union. At
Hmm.
some point, she met a business partner that said, "Oh, let's do French bakeries in Ukraine and Russia and Kazakhstan, so the former Soviet Union bloc." And so she did that. And the reality is, it was well, it was great for like the business. The demand was strong, but I didn't see my mother much
Yeah.
at the time. Yeah, I moved from living with my grandparents in Ukraine to living in France.
Hmm.
But my mom was spending a lot of time traveling, and she was like here every other weekend, and then flying back to Kiev or the Crimea or Moscow to do business. And then when I was going, on summer breaks, I was seeing that, how she was working, and it was like chaos, spreadsheets everywhere, paper. She was actually not only doing the marketing and all that stuff, but also running the business. And I
Hmm.
was like, wow, okay, that seems overwhelming.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was playing video games a lot. I was a geek, and I was playing those strategy games about management and
Hmm.
doing some. I don't know if you played the game. It was the Battle for Middle Earth. So you take
Yep.
from, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. You create
Yep.
your village, you build your army, and then you go and destroy the
Yep.
orcs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Destroy the
Yeah.
orcs. So I was really a big fan of that, and then I was like hooked. I did a lot of strategy games, and so like just managing stuff was very interesting to me. And I'm like, listen, why don't we imagine we could do that in real life? Managing your business, but not the collecting virtual coins, but the real ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, Mom, you should try to manage your business with a computer. And she's like, no, that doesn't happen.
Hmm.
uh, but still, some smart guys from Ukraine came to her business, and she hired some smart dudes. Um, and they did some automations, and she was like, oh yeah, that's nice. And so she could spend a little more time with us and my three little brothers. So I was like, okay, that's really cool. I see something in there.
Yeah.
Then when I moved to Canada in 2014, I was 19 at the time. And 2014, I don't know geopolitical wise, if you know, but the war with Russia and Ukraine started.
Hmm.
At that time, my mom's like actually lost a lot
Yeah.
of her business because Crimea got annexed. Relationship with Russia kind of deteriorated a lot.
Yeah.
The local currency in Ukraine lost like yeah, divided by three,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
overnight. It went from €1 10 grivna to €1 30 grivna.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't great. And I was just starting my studies here in the Polytechnique Montreal. And she told me, Alex, I don't have money to support you. So it's either you find a way or you come back, home and do studies in the French free education system. So I
Yeah.
was like, no way. Right away, I found, I didn't know how to run a business. So I found a
Mhm.
franchise called College Pro Painters.
Okay.
And this is where that was my first entrepreneurial experience, where I managed a painting business. I was
Hmm.
doing painting in houses here in Outremont and Westmount for very rich folks. It was very
Hmm.
fun.
Yep.
But yeah, this is where the first time I got confronted with managing a business. And at the time we didn't have much resources. We have a kind of central CRM
Hmm.
for the head office, and you had to input your clients in there.
Yeah.
so they can charge you royalties. Essentially, there wasn't any value add for me as a business owner.
Yeah.
So the rest of the planning, marketing, everything was done on spreadsheets. And I
Hmm.
was kind of the best of the group of in our Quebec province. There was like, I don't know, 15 franchisees. And I
Okay.
was actually sending all my templates and
Hmm.
automations. And I was
Nice.
quite good at it. And in parallel, I was studying engineering at Polytechnique. I
Mm.
started in applied physics, but because I like math and all that stuff. But then I realized, man, that's not really what I want to do in life. So
Mm-hmm.
I switched to industrial engineering, and it
Okay.
was really like a perfect fit with what I wanted to do because I had like three amazing teachers that really inspired me to double down on what I do today.
Mm.
Robert Pellerin, who was teaching re-engineering of processes and information systems.
Hmm.
So in the second year of studies, you actually build your own ERP system,
Yeah.
like with
Nice.
Access, Microsoft Access.
Okay.
So we had a project of you build a system to manage bus routes across Quebec. So it was a
Hmm.
very fun project. I was like, okay, this is the first time you learn SQL, first time you kind of understand how to automate and digitize processes. It was fantastic.
Nice.
Then I had courses on simulation, so how you use data to predict the future. I was like,
Hmm.
wow, okay, that's insane. I had
Hmm.
a fantastic teacher, Alexandre Carey,
Hmm.
and right now he manages a huge business called Simwell.
Nice.
He's doing simulations for various kinds of industries like mining,
Hmm.
even train building, like for the new fast line of trains between Quebec and Toronto. I don't know actually if he's on this project, but similar stuff.
Nice.
And then I had Michel Gamache. He was a teacher on math used to optimize complex systems. Like how do you attribute the planes to doors in the airport,
Hmm.
the shortest path problems of, you have a postman or a salesman. What
Mm.
route, what is the best route he can take to deliver? So that's what
Hmm.
Amazon uses for their delivery trucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all those algorithms, I'm like, like there's a lot of business that are just managed on paper and intuition.
Yeah.
There's something to be done, you know.
And what year did you saw your mother got the help for those Ukrainian guys for those automatization? What year was that?
Yeah, so she started her business in early 2000s, and
Okay.
the guys came in around 2010, 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I was quite mature at that time already. And yeah, what actually pushed her to hire people is because she got pregnant with my
Mm.
fourth brother. And she's
Okay.
like, at some point you have to do your
Yeah.
mother duties. Yeah.
After three, you have to kind of start doing it at some point.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, but she was the typical business owner who is,
Yeah.
like micromanaging, yelling at everyone.
Yeah.
The Russian way of managing
Yeah. Yeah.
people
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to.
Is your father was in business too?
Yeah. My dad, he had a construction business.
Nice. In France?
Yeah, in France too. Now he's building luxury villas in Nice.
Okay.
And yeah, actually, right now I'm one of my clients. He does like doors and windows installation here in Quebec.
Yeah.
They're like a big business, but my dad, he does like general constructions of big
Mm.
villas. And like a few months ago, we were speaking. He's like, "Oh, I install doors and windows with helicopters right now." I'm like, "Okay, well,
Goddamn.
yeah,
That's another game. Another
that's
game.
another game." Yeah. He
Goddamn. So coming back to your role in the business, are you still like the tech guy doing all the automatization and everything, or you're more the decision maker? Like, what's your role in your business right now?
Yeah, my goal right now is business development and the delivery. So we
Okay.
are still like a small company.
Yeah.
We have a few customers, and right now we focus on doing the best job possible for the existing customers. So we still develop our product. We have like a 2-3 year vision in terms of where we want to go. Um, and yes, so I balance my time between product development, product delivery, and then marketing activities.
How many of you guys are you in the team? Two,
we
three?
we are free, and then
Okay.
we do some fractional work and freelancing work when we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So just as a simple question. What's an ERP for people that maybe don't understand that part of the job?
Yeah, so an ERP is an enterprise resource planning. So it's a system that helps you run your operations. So in a business, usually you have two main pillars. You acquire customers, so marketing, sales,
Yeah.
etc. And then there's the actual, you deliver either a product or a service.
Hmm.
And to do that and scale your operations, you can do the old way, which is create processes, standard operating procedures, and then manage it the best way you can.
Hmm.
And then there is the modern way that helps you kind of tie the whole thing together, from procurement, logistics, inventory, the financials. So an ERP, it's kind of the glue between all those operational activities that happen in your business. And so those systems started to appear in the last century
Hmm.
with big giants like SAP. They come from Germany. There's IBM, of course, who I think
Yeah.
were the pioneers, and the industry really evolved,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it stagnated a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you saw that technology evolve, like you just mentioned? Like what's the big change that you saw?
So I think that's the reality. They didn't change much.
Mm.
The most recent example is in Quebec. We have that scandal with SAAQclic,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was invited also to a podcast to do a deep dive of what went wrong.
Yeah.
Because in my career before I was doing Anchorpoint, I was um, managing the technology and processes at Essence, like a big retailer, a Canadian retailer,
Mm.
and we did similar transformations with big ERPs like SAP, WMS, warehouse management systems, and stuff.
Hmm.
And I learned a, a ton there.
Mhm.
And so from that experience, I could really kind of have an DI to analyze what went wrong with that government project. And in reality, it's like the typical, bloated industry that kind of, is broken.
Mhm.
There's one stat that is just, I think, would sum up the whole thing. 75% of all ERP projects, they fail.
Huh.
So that's huge. Imagine you hire a company, consultants, and all that stuff to implement a system like this, and it will fail 75% of the time, which is huge. And those projects, they're not cheap. It's like hundreds, millions of dollars,
Hmm.
projects, and they require months of work. And there are essentially, reasons why it fails. But what happened in Quebec with the SAAQclic is kind of, you know, the typical example of why those projects fail. So it's like it's not on our government kind of fault. It's also like how the industry is done. But they, if they couldn't do it worse than what they did actually.
And what are those causes usually that those 75% like project fails? Like what's the major cause of that of failing?
Yeah. So I think three parts: pre-project, during the project, and then the product itself that is delivered.
Mm.
So the pre deal signature, usually you have the biggest mistake that everyone does is salespeople. They want to make the sale,
Yeah.
and they don't really understand the customer's need and processes, and so you have a scope creep. It's very hard to actually say what processes need to be digitized, how workflow will work, etc.
Mm.
And it's one thing about salespeople, they're just accountable to make the sale, and then they what happens with the project later on, they are not really involved in that. So that's
Mm.
the first big problem. And also they have to sell something that is pre-configured, that is very usually very rigid. So those
Mm.
big ERP systems, they were built in the 90s, and they didn't move much.
Yeah.
They put some layers of AI, etc., but those are very complex technologies that the people who implement them need to kind of get certified on and like learn those systems. So there's kind of an industry built on top of those systems that is huge. Then there's the delivery. So once again, usually those companies, they don't implement it. They work with partners. So big consulting firms or niche boutiques. who will have people who are trained and then try to do their best.
Mm.
But once again, it's the you kind of yeah.
Hmm.
If you're lucky, you have great consultants and they really get it, it will work well. But they're also limited by factors, the human nature.
Yeah.
Some people just don't care and they switch jobs, and those projects usually they need focus and big involvement, and
Hmm.
then there's the product itself. I think it's kind of that moment where we realize that they have 50,000 buttons and they modular, but
Yeah.
you're still quite limited in what you can do.
Mm.
And configuration can create big monsters. So what happens usually is a customer needs to adapt to the software rather than the software adapting to the customer. And
Mm.
that's a huge, huge problem. It's like
Mm.
that moment with Steve Jobs during his keynote in 2007. He presents the old like Blackberries, and this he says, the 40%, which is the keyboard,
Yeah.
is rigid, and the UI is kind of forced onto the
Hmm.
user. And he
Yeah.
says, applications, they should adapt like we do on the PC. Your screen and the buttons can adapt. I think it's quite the same analogy in what happens right now with the ERP market. Is
Mm.
that we had a very rigid, softwares, but now thanks to AI, we come to a world where we can be, we can have bigger screens, remove the limitations,
Mm.
and actually do something that is adapted to the processes and the people of a company. And that's where
Mm.
Anchorpoint is positioned. Essentially, we
And
bring that
how
reality to life.
nice. And how you see like small companies approaching those like custom ERP, CRM, or why don't they just go with like SaaS instead of like you guys would
That's a very good
customize for
question.
them?
I think like we worked a lot on this problem in our market. So we defined our ICP, our avatar.
Yeah.
We called it Frank.
Frank.
Uh,
Goddamn
Frank.
Frank.
Yeah, goddamn Frank. But the reality of Frank is that he's like my mom. In some way, he's just he's expert in his domain, like bakeries, painting houses, doing plumbing or manufacturing stuff. But usually, those people they didn't go through technology school or did the studies that, for example, I did. They fear technology. So we have main three groups of Franks. They are the unaware, problem aware, and solution aware.
Mm.
I would say 50% of Franks are just unaware that they have a problem in their business. They're like, this is what business is
Is.
like. I work
Yeah.
70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. I have paper everywhere and I need to hire people and hope for the best. You
Hmm.
know, then they're the problem aware. They're like, listen, I need to scale, or I want to spend more time with my kids, or go on a vacation and don't have a phone that rings. So I will have some Excels and like I'll hire some consultants and I'll procure some SaaS solution, a point
Hmm.
solution. But you still have silos. It's still, out of the box, not the best. Maybe it will have 40% of the feature you need, and you pay for the other 60 that
Mm.
isn't really adapted for you. And I spoke to a lot of business owners. They're like, we use that CRM, but everyone hates it, or we bought this software and like we just had to adapt to it.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, there's some advantages to those. It's still better than nothing, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then there's the solution aware, those that really understand, okay, what an ERP is, and they're like, 20% big max of the whole population.
Mm.
They kind of, they're techie, they know AI, they have the latest iPhone. And so they invest, they maybe have some tech team inside.
Mm.
But still, I think the unit economics don't work for them when it comes to ERP,
Mm.
because there's a lot of big problems to solve in that industry, and it doesn't happen overnight. So we are very early. What I say, there's like a big canyon between companies who are too big for QuickBooks but too small for traditional ERP, and there's like a void. And then, for example, in most companies and economies, government is like, listen, our digitalization um, is very low in companies. And I'm sure you go and you call your friend who works in the real economy, trades or construction, etc., and you ask them if they have an ERP or etc., they'll be like, no.
No.
And
Yeah.
you ask why, and they say it's not the lack of investment or subsidies in the government, etc. It's more of a, there's no real thing that actually solves what they want to do.
Mm.
And they've heard too much stories of people procuring software, being overcharged, and
Hmm.
failing.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's a huge problem to solve, and we try to do that.
And in your experience, how many of the percentage of Frank 1, 2, and 3 you guys talk with?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
In your experience with business owners,
Yeah,
what are like the big percentage? Because you mentioned Frank 1, 2, and 3. So one is
yeah,
like doesn't know anything, 2 kind of know but goes with a SaaS, and then 3 really wants to have a customizable
yeah.
platform. What are the big percentage that you guys speak with that you see in the
Uh,
general business owners? Is it mostly 1 or 2, maybe?
so, for example, this customer that we are right now, they're in Boisbriand in Quebec.
Yeah.
I came to them like in June or May. We first touch we had in May, and their whole business was run on paper. And so the owner, I know him like from 2018.
Mhm.
I did some sales for him on the side when I was in university too.
Hmm.
And I asked him, why don't you have any technology? And he's like, oh, I don't trust the market. You always overcharge. The government creates those inflated prices, and
Hmm.
I know too many people who were burned by that.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay. And so, and then I spoke to their director of operation, and she tried to like procure an ERP system, but
Mhm.
she couldn't find anything that was really like making sense.
Hmm.
Some of the companies she approached built her $250,000,
Eesh.
but she was like, yeah, that's not realistic.
Hmm. And
So
do you
they were,
go ahead?
yeah. So, and I would say most of the business owners I speak to, they're in that category. So, like
Hmm.
building trust is important, and the most important thing, and like educating on those aspects um, is is the main focus. And then the rest, I would say, the other 25% would be those the problem aware.
Hmm.
So they have some scale, they have a few the things that work, and and usually they don't have the appetite to do another digital transformation. So they want to kind of keep their tools that they already have, because they have that bias of sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
They're already invested so much money, they don't want to do anything new or reinvent the wheel. So you kind of
Hmm.
have to work around what already exists, and we can do that. And then there's those that are solution aware, invest into the solutions, and like everywhere. Sometimes they don't find what they need, so they just
Hmm.
wait until the market adapts.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And have you seen like a big demand coming up for those kind of data engineer or Indian analytics in the businesses over the
Oh,
recent year?
it's huge.
Maybe with AI coming up, like people actually understand like, oh, my data needs to be better, or I need that ERP for to get my AI better. Is there like a big boom of the subjects coming up
There's a
now?
huge boom. There's a huge
Okay.
boom, especially in 2025. I don't know if you saw all those vibe coding platforms
Yeah.
that appeared.
Yeah.
So Lovable, Bolt, Replit,
Yeah.
Base 44. There's like a bunch of them. It's like a huge market this year.
Yeah.
And what it really actually does is give the power of to people who are not technical to express themselves through software prototypes. So
Hmm.
usually those solutions, they build you prototypes or MVPs at best,
Yeah.
but they're like they create a way for those companies to actually realize, oh, it's doable. Maybe we
Mm.
can do something that is you know that is great. I don't know if you
Yeah.
hear some noise on the background,
No,
by
it's
the way.
okay.
No? Okay, it's okay. Nice. And it serves us a lot, because
Hmm.
now that they have something that is kind of a maquette, like a
Yeah.
prototype,
Hmm.
they want to implement it. And so
Mm.
for companies like us, it creates you know a more educated market of people who are like, oh, maybe we can do things way cheaper than it was done before. So
Hmm.
people are way more open minded towards those things.
Hmm. And do you think with those platforms, someone could achieve what you guys do by just vibe coding it, or like you need that tech behind it to actually make it work as what you want it to be?
That's a very good question. So I think all those ERP and digital transformation,
Yeah.
there's the Sainte Trinité of operational excellence. I would say
Mm,
the whole trinity of operational excellence. It's people, process, tech, and so
mm,
those vibe cutting tools, they solve just one big bottleneck, which is the tech. But you
mm,
still have to figure out how to build the right processes and the right standard operating procedures. And then there's the whole change management and like people sticking to it, and then
mm,
creating big feedback loops.
mm.
So it's very good that you have like the spark,
Yeah.
but then there's the actual creating that fire and like something that
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah.
sustainable and actually is functional.
Hmm.
And so I think what AI does in those vibe coding tools, they remove one of the biggest bottlenecks that we had in to attain operational excellence.
Hmm.
But it's not only about tech, and
Yeah.
that's basically the biggest revolution that we see right now in that market.
Hmm. And have you experienced like people coming in with those ideas already built on like Lovable or one of those platforms to you directly and be like, hey, this is what I want. Can you kind of make everything happen at the same time? Did you experience anything like that with like clients
Yeah,
or?
so we had just one client
Yeah.
who did that, so it was very
Yeah.
helpful, and I think we're gonna start to implement some of that kind of engagement model into how we
Mm.
do stuff.
Yeah.
And we already see, we create some workflows where we have our OpsOS that we implement into this business.
Hmm.
They have a feedback button where it kind of creates a video of what they want to do. They explain with
Mm.
voice and like drawing what they would like to do, and then
Mm.
we have our own automations in the background who will do like 90% of the work.
Mm.
So we just have to then confirm that what they expressed and was generated is compliant, and then we can iterate super quickly on new features and new workflows,
Hmm.
and that creates a sense of control,
Yeah.
that and iteration speed that we didn't see in the past. That something that would take like months of work right now can be done
Yeah.
in a day.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Nice. Hmm. And I think coming back to the CRM, I think you talk really quickly about like people using bad CRM that they mention it being bad CRM. I know one that I think everyone knows is JHL. Do you know
Go high
what
level,
what,
yeah.
what are like those bad CRMs that people talk about that you see that are not really like the best for businesses from your experience or what you heard around a little bit?
Yeah, so the CRMs, the customer relationship management softwares, they historically um, were used as a data entry
Yeah.
and like archiving software.
Yeah.
So they weren't really bringing value to a user. And I think that's still
Mm.
the case most of the time. If you go on
Mm.
forums like Reddit and you look at salespeople talk
Yeah.
about CRMs, they all hate it. The HubSpot it just doesn't adapt. And
Yeah.
it's more of a clerical work or like input monkeys for then the managers to say, oh, you hit your quota, or what is the
Yeah.
percentage of that
Mm.
customer in your pipeline. But they don't actually enable like value add activities for the rest of the delivery. And I think
Mm.
this is where we bridge the gap between the just simple data governance and analytical part of the
Mhm.
business, which is still very important, but
Yeah.
using that data to support the transformation and the delivery of your product or service to the
Mm.
customer. And this is where this concept of CRM and ERP, they kind of merge together,
Mhm.
because what really matters is that customer obsession in any business is like,
Yeah.
do you actually provide the best and the best service and the best product to your customers?
Mhm.
And those solutions usually they were in silo and there wasn't that value chain. So how do you
Mm.
stack value across your the time to
Yeah.
your customers so they become promoters of your company?
Hmm.
And so the first company that did it really really well was Amazon.
Hmm.
So they came in and they said, listen, we won't invest any really money into marketing and like branding and all that stuff. No, we're just going to deliver you in under 24 hours. And they just broke every rule in the playbook from the last century, and they said, we know if our service is exceptional, it's just going to spread like wildfire. And it did. you know
Mhm.
And Scott Galloway, a fantastic professor from NYU, is actually a big inspiration of mine. He said the brand area is dead. Now you can't get away with a bad product and bad service because you have those weapons of mass diligence, meaning Facebook, Google reviews, TripAdvisors, etc., that
Yeah.
will expose you if you are really bad. And people,
Yeah.
before they purchase, usually they do their due diligence and research.
Yeah.
So now operational excellence of your supply chain in your service is a strategic of importance. And with the old tools like just paper and Excel and silo tools, you can't achieve it. So what really made Amazon excel is because they optimize the whole value chain of their supply chain, from procurement to inventory management to fulfillment to the customer success and the automations, and that's why they are the market leader today. But it wasn't done on SAP or HubSpot.
Yeah.
No,
No.
they built their own
Yeah.
tech, and that's why they win. And most of the companies who win today is because they go away from that mentality of just having their workforce being input monkeys
Yeah.
to creating systems that actually support the value chain. Yeah, but of course there's a nuance in everything.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want to create a QuickBooks. There's still some point solutions that are very, very good, that are optimized, but it's also a question of how do you orchestrate those solutions together.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Nice.
integrate.
So coming back to your business now a little bit. So what's currently working for the business that you thought maybe wasn't supposed to work as much? Um, and then we'll talk about the challenges right after. So let's start with like what's working well in Anchor Point for now.
Yeah. So what works? Our delivery model is fantastic. I think that's what we focused the most in 2025. It's making our customers super, super happy.
Nice.
And just today, we Erwan, the CTO, pushed some updates on the platform that help manage the scheduling and the order management from the factories, from different suppliers, and the delight we saw on the faces of the team here was just amazing. And we did it in under a week. Or the
Nice.
other example is like we build processes and automations for the data migration, which is one of the biggest challenges during ERP implementations.
Okay.
And so, yeah, our process is amazing because we can do, the first migration, the first step is highly iterative because you don't know what you don't know. So your ability to push features like in the same minute, hour, to support the best data migration is key. And we worked hard on that, and we now have an edge there.
Nice.
We shipped like 15, 20 features to support the good data migration the first day. And then the rest of the week, when we had to migrate 500 cases and client dossier, files into our system, we could do it very smoothly. And so the data quality is paramount, of course, in all systems.
Nice.
So you have the people, process, tech, and the center you have data. If your data is trash, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, those things are kind of foundational. And we work on those foundations.
And did you guys manage to enter some AI into the business to help you guys work faster into different angles, or?
This is where, when we started the business, we were like, okay, let's geek on the agents and the AI and try to expose that to the customers. But very quickly, we realized nobody really cares.
No.
Nobody cares about the lang chain, lang graphs, and all that stuff. Especially Frank, who's in the 50%.
Yeah, he just wants the job done.
Exactly. So what we flipped the mindset and we said, okay, let's first use those tools internally.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And it helps us tremendously.
Nice.
And so, yeah, the bits of AI that we have in the software right now are just very basic. It's like OCR algorithms. So when this customer, for example, they upload the quote that the salespeople did, it extracts all the fields and populates, the CRM and our OpsOS automatically. So they don't have to type it.
Yeah.
So which is great because it's just you take the PDF, you put it, boom, done. Save, you just verify, all right, you don't have to type on the keyboard. Saves a lot
Yeah.
of time.
It does.
Um,
It's stupid because it's like sometimes it's those small like agent or small automatization of like two, three steps that actually make a
yeah,
big difference compared to like that big LLM thing that you build for like something else, and then at the end of the day, it doesn't really do what you need.
yeah, exactly. Simplicity is key. Everything has to be simple. That's kind of
Yeah.
the word of order at us. We try to simplify things as much as possible. If you
Hmm.
start to use like complex orchestrations, complex words with the customers, you'll lose them. Like,
Yeah.
and our goal is not to like up our egos and say, "Oh, look how smart we are."
No,
No,
no.
we take the other approach. We
Yeah.
say, "Listen, it's dumb simple. It's just
Hmm.
UI, uh, input, process, output. That's all it is, all the
Yeah,
time."
yeah.
And simplicity is key.
And I think that that's a big thing in IT. Sometimes you'll speak with people, uh, and like they're so smart into what they know, and they try to explain it in like their own words.
Language. Oh
And
yeah,
being like the not the stupid guy, but the guy that doesn't know all of it, you're just like, I don't even know what you're saying. It's like,
yeah,
and just say it with like dumb words where like a 10-year-old can understand it, and then it's just gonna be like, ah, now I understand how
yeah.
it works, how you do this, how you want me to implement this, and why, and instead of just going with like the big technology and
Yeah.
words and stuff like
Exactly.
that.
Even I struggled so much for so long. It's only honestly 2 3 months that I
Mm.
really started to understand Frank and how
Yeah.
to talk to him very well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard so many times. I still don't. What are you talking
But
about, dude?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Frank in
me.
construction doesn't know all the tech things in the background.
Doesn't. Yeah, and he doesn't want to know everything.
He
But
doesn't know. Yeah.
yeah, no.
So what's the challenges now for your businesses that you encounter in, I think, a year in business now? 2 years?
Yeah, we started in August of 2024. And
Okay.
so it's been like a
Year and a
year and a
half.
half
Yeah.
exactly. But we really started to have a big traction in the last few months. Right
Nice.
now, the demand is huge. We start to have a lot of inbound.
Mm.
It's great.
Mm.
It's really good. So the challenge I would say for 2026 will be quality growth. We don't want to grow too
Mm.
fast,
Yeah.
and we don't want to get too much ahead of ourselves because we have a big strategic vision for 2023, 2027.
2026. Yeah.
I'm still
Okay.
in 2020.
It's
COVID
still a couple of
was
years
just
back.
yesterday. Yeah, yeah, a couple of weeks back. Uh, and yeah, we want to be impeccable on that execution. So there's still a lot of R&D that we want to be doing
Mhm.
to take a market leadership. Um, and yeah, until then, it's just balancing that R&D that we do with Air1, who's our CTO, and then create a very stable acquisition engine for our
Mm.
customers. So we want to be very careful with who we work with
Mm.
because we don't want to help everyone
Yeah.
because otherwise, yeah, we will stretch ourselves thin, and that's not good.
Yeah. And then quality is
Um,
gonna be less good, so you want to always keep that quality at
exactly.
the proper. Hmm.
So quality is paramount because I know myself. When I was doing my painting business, I had 99% satisfaction rate and an NPS over 60%.
Mhm.
But it's still those one or two customers that I didn't deliver well. I was doing nightmares
Yeah.
because of them. Because I don't know. This is who I am.
Yeah.
So I'd rather like maximize the quality,
Hmm.
define very very well, very good the product and delivery model,
Yeah.
and then grow once I feel confident that we can execute at scale.
Hmm. Nice. And what's the goal for that 2027? I think I was about to ask for the next 6 to 12 months, but I understand you have more of a 2-year plan. So what's the
Yeah.
plan for like next year and then 2027?
So next year we have a target of serving 20 customers, 20 to 40. 40 would be the best.
Okay.
So and our ICP is usually a company doing between 5 million and like $50 million per year. So
Nice.
it's like good mid market.
Yeah.
Uh, Most of your companies that are like in a in a big good size, they're
Hmm.
in that tranche, and so we focus on that on this
Hmm.
niche. But now, even if we say, our Frank is in the construction business, we start to work with, retailers. We even have a fintech company from Dubai with whom we work right now.
Damn.
Yeah. because in reality, everyone has operational problems. Everyone has different deals and processes and services that go outside of the traditional ERP boxes.
Mm, I
Yeah.
understand. So 20 to 40 customers in 1 year, that's like in your okay realm. That for me, that's a lot. They're supposed to be a
Yeah,
lot.
but our projects, they have to last at less than 3 months. That's what we have in
Mm,
terms of speed of delivery,
okay, yeah.
because we iterate every week.
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't want to. Actually, developing a software is expensive because you have to hire very very good engineers, and
Mm,
they're very expensive. So
yeah.
the unit economics don't work. So we
Mm,
have a business model that actually, helps us, incentivizes us to go very quickly with
yeah.
the best quality as possible, and then switch to a more managed services where the application runs, and then we bill the customer way less than the
Yeah.
service,
Mm,
but we our margin is done on
mm.
that phase when everything is running.
Nice. And what's the big plan to get those customers? Is it just push all into marketing, or like, what's the barrier between right now and those 40 clients, new clients in
Yeah, so
the
we work right now with consultants, marketing consultants, who help us a lot in building those sales acquisition funnels
Yeah.
for Frank.
Okay.
Uh, so
Yeah.
where do we reach Frank? Where they are?
Mm,
How to get their attention, how to tell a story that resonates with them,
mm,
and how can we make sure that pre-engagement we have a level of alignment that helps us keep expectations at the highest level. Because again, we won't take customers who don't have any excellence mentality with their people and their processes, because we bring the tech, and then okay, we help tie the people and the processes together, but
yeah.
we can't do the work of you
Mm,
know
I understand.
yeah, of those
Hmm.
other two pillars. And so we want to make sure that people do their homework before signing with us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, Alex, before we close, for the listeners who maybe wants to connect with your business or yourself, where can they reach you guys?
Yeah, they can reach us on LinkedIn, even though I hate LinkedIn. Oh boy. Yeah, they can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, Anchorpoint Data Technologies. You should find us there. Or yeah, find me on LinkedIn, Alexandre Carey. Uh, I'm also on Twitter. I'm
Any
quite good everywhere.
website too? You guys have a website, I
There's the
guess?
website,
All right.
anchorpointdata.com.
Perfect.
Yeah, reach out to us if you're interested to talk about those things. And yes,
There you go. So thank you, Alex. That was an amazing conversation.
thank you, Maxime. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me. See you next time.
Yes, sir.